Welcome to the den, the Dingus Den.
Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new episode of the Comic Club, where I'm joined by a new guest from Classic Wolf from the Classic Wolf podcast. How are you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on your show. And yeah, the Dingus Den. Here I am.
Here you are at last. Oh man, I've been so excited to talk about this book. You know, it's finally here. What a lot of people have been dubbing, or posing the question to, is this the comic crossover of the year, right? Like, you know, having
Yeah,
Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. What a combo here this is. That's just freaking awesome. And so I can't wait to talk about it, recently just covered Predator versus Wolverine, which has also been pretty epic, and so it's great to see both Marvel and DC have both their big crossovers. And I've been I've liked both issues a good bit. Just spoiler alert before we get into this story. But what did you think about this issue? Any overall thoughts before we get into all the story of it?
well, my first thoughts, man, this book is very epic, and I'm
Mhm.
excited to read more because it just leaves you at a point where it's just like, oh man, come on. I have
It
to wait
stops
next week.
here. It stops here. Yeah, this
Yeah.
this book does a lot more setup than what I was expecting, right? And that's something I kind of appreciate. I was using this. I was just talking to one of my friends earlier about this, and I was saying, I think this book walked so future ones can run, because I feel like this was a lot of setup, but this first issue, even though it was a lot of setup, is still epic in its own ways.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, there's a lot of crossovers this year, man, and this one is just like
Yeah.
a 10 out of 10.
I can't wait to see where this goes, but I guess without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into this story, right? But
Yes.
before I do, shout out to the writer Brian Bushelato. I probably butchered that name. I apologize as I butcher every single name I say. That's just how it is here. Also artist Christian Deuce and Louis Guerrero being the colorist. Amazing work done throughout all this, especially so many of the arts and just all that coming together. But let's get into the story here, where it starts with Clark Kent and Lois Lane. They're having like this big date sort of dinner on top of the Daily Planet. Clark then uh, proposes to Lois, and then all of a sudden he gets interrupted by these big rumbles, and then that's where the King of Monsters, Godzilla himself, just rises from the water. What a way to start this issue, right? Starts right off the bat. You just see Godzilla
Yeah.
just come out of the water. Gets you hooked
It's,
immediately.
it's like a punch in the face, and you're just like, oh, it's starting.
Starting Godzilla, and then you have to go back 12 hours ago. You're here inside of the Justice League, their Hall of Justice, where you see Flash and Green Lantern. They're monitoring Superman as he's going from one crime to another. You know, they're kind of just marveling at, like, holy crap, this one guy is just amazing. His determination to just move on from one thing to another, right? Then
Mm.
mentions about how he's wanting to take this vacation with Lois, be like their first ever main vacation, and then Supergirl will like fill in his place. And then we all of a sudden see Titano, uh, who appears in Metropolis, and then Superman goes to confront it. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
Titano here, he's this like big ape creature that has like this kryptonite vision. He's actually a pretty obscure character. I was just looking into this a little bit ago, and yeah, he hasn't had that many appearances. His first appearance was actually uh was so disliked, like people hated it, to where he didn't come back for a long time at all. He's only had a very few appearances. But
Is that the
fun fact.
issue, the 1970s issue?
Something like that. He looks completely different. As far as I know, no versions of Titano quite looks like this one.
Yeah. I mean, like, before we get into everything, I mean,
Yeah,
Tantano, he's an ape that has like it has superpowers. It's like a super
right,
ape, and
right.
so yeah, it's like in the 1950s when he first appeared.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was like a crossover like with King Kong and what he did, and with him fighting Superman.
It looks very sort of similar as far as the ideas I know remain the same. Of like he's this big ape that has like kryptonite lasers and
Yeah,
from his eyes, and so like that's been the same thing of like, oh, think if Kong was to face Superman but had a chance, but they like did a terrible job with him supposedly. But anyway,
yeah,
I kind of find that funny though, because right here in this issue, Flash leaves to go help Superman because it's like, holy crap, it's a big ape with super the laser vision, right? Or not laser vision, the kryptonite
yeah,
lasers. That's what I think of. But anyway, he Flash leaves to help Superman, but once Flash gets there, Superman already has the job done, right? And so I think that's just great here because it's like you have Superman, just taking care of the job quickly, just showing how great of a hero he is. And then on the flip side too, I feel like it's kind of making fun of Titano a little bit too, because it's like, well, that wasn't really any of a fight. You didn't even see the fight, really.
yeah,
And so, but yeah, Superman then takes Titano to Stryker's Island. There's others at the Justice League that meets him there that just starts supporting Superman about his decision to propose to Lois, and just giving him all sorts of words of advice and be like, oh, you got this, saying that they're just meant for each other and all that.
yeah,
We then cut to the Legion of Doom, where we see them start another plot against the Justice League. Lex Luthor then interjects, saying, "Well, he knows what to do." So what do? They go break into the Fortress of Solitude, where they then want to go steal a Mother Box and Orion's sled. And Lex Luthor tells everybody else specifically, "Don't touch anything else." However, one person here does not listen, and that's Toyman, who grabs this little red stone from one of the cases. We're gonna cut. We get this little scene of Bruce and Clark, where Bruce is personally wishing Clark the best of luck for his new journey ahead of him. But then Clark hears the alarm go off over at his over from the Fortress of Solitude. But then he receives a call from Kara, aka Supergirl, saying, "You know what? We've got this." Where we then see Supergirl, Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl, all at the Fortress of Solitude there, where just they're ready to confront the Legion of Doom. We get this big epic battle between them, and however, it gets
yeah,
interrupted when one of Toyman's bombs then hits the mother box that they were trying to go after. That then causes all this chaos, and the Legion of Doom disappears with all the Justice League remaining there. We then get this quick little scene of Clark now leading Lois to dinner, and then now we're gonna cut back to the Legion of Doom, where we then see them stranded on this island. And then while they're figuring out what to do, there's this skull crawler. Remember, like those big creatures from Kong Skull Island just appear, and out of nowhere, now Kong just interjects and smashes it to the ground.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, what an epic entrance for Kong as well, right? So anyway, Legion of Doom then retreats into this sort of like command center building that was just right there. Uh, except for Grodd, he stays out there trying to communicate with Kong.
Mhm.
And so while everybody else is inside learning about all these different kaiju's, Toyman's also inside of there. He's having this great fascination about them. He's like calling them the ultimate toys. And so Lex Luthor is kind of like calling him crazy, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you just need to get out of here, figure out our way back since you got us here. But he then takes out his red stone, and he then wishes to take back all the kaiju's to play with the Justice League. And so then we see
Yes.
Kong sort of looking confused, and then there's this big red flash. Then we go back full circle to the opening, where we see Superman being interrupted while he is proposing. And then, he does his classic Superman, you know, taking off his shirt and, putting on his costume there, or revealing his costume, I should say, and then flies off to confront Godzilla. And that is where the issue ends, just leaving you wanting more, as we were saying, to see this epic
Yeah,
showdown of Superman and Godzilla. I can't wait to see more of this. But yeah.
yeah. Like I said, man, it's just got a big punch to the face. Like you just want more of what you read. The first start when you open the
Mhm.
book and see what's going on, and you see a big Godzilla
Mhm.
ready to fight Superman,
Oh,
and you just like want to read off from right there, but it goes off into a 12-hour thing that they first the origins of what happens to the
yeah.
story.
Yeah. I mean, as I was saying, I think it was just this issue was walking so futures could run, right? And I think in the
Yeah.
long run, it could help more benefit having this sort of setup, right? Because I wasn't expecting to have going into this having this whole storyline of well, this is all because of Toyman, who's not normally part of the Legion of Doom, right? Uh, be a
No.
part of this, and this is the reason why everything happens, right? I didn't realize what it was at first until he used it, but the fact he took that red stone and then wished it, he used the wishing stone, and I didn't realize that's what it was at first. Remember
Mm.
that same stone was used in Wonder Woman 84, right? That was like the whole premise of the movie, that whole stone
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
used. Yeah. And so that same stone, but in the comic here. And so that's how the kaijus get brought across. My big question here going forward is like, how is the Legion of Doom gonna get brought across now? That's the big thing I'm really curious about. But I also find it pretty great that it's like we're getting this little bit of setup to where we might get something going on with Grodd and Kong.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward
I
to
mean,
that.
you have two heavy hitters in the Legion of Doom. You have Luther and Gorilla Grodd. So you're gonna have them teaming up together, and like you said too, with like Toyman, you never really see him with the Legion of Doom,
Hmm.
as well as like you see him in the Justice League Unlimited,
Hmm.
and but other than that, I mean that's the first time I ever see him with Legion of Doom, especially like um was it he was a doll at first, right? And then now he's a
He like uses this doll all the time, I believe.
yeah. So that's the thing, and I'm really like scratching my head with Toyman because I don't really like Toyman. I mean,
Right.
he's just
He's like
like I
that.
knew that he was gonna screw something up, man. Like
Right. Right.
he
He's that
just
character
he
that you
just
just see there, and you're like, why is he here? And then he screws everything
yeah.
up, and you're like, oh, that's why he's here. Okay.
I like I like Luthor's reaction when they arrive at Skull Island. Like
Right.
we should have added you out of the Legion of Doom, and he gets mad about that.
Right. Sluther may have a point, right? And I mean, this story's set up to where everything was Toyman's fault, right? Because A, he
Yeah,
brings them to Skull Island, and then B, he wishes all the kaijus to the main universe now. So we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see what
I mean,
comes of that.
there's just so much stuff that's gonna go on, and
Hmm.
yeah, like we're just paving the way. They're just paving the way of future crossovers to come.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to see all of whatever other kaijus may be included, right? Because he just wished everybody on screen, right? And we saw a lot of different kaijus here appear on that screen, right? Like, if you remember in Godzilla King of Monsters, how, like, you got to see glimpses of other little, like, kaiju, or not little, but other kaijus that only were there for a little bit, right? It seemed like you saw
Mhm.
about, I don't want to say all of those, but, like, you see a lot of those appear on these screens that the Legion of Doom is now made aware of.
Yeah, I mean that's another point, man. I mean, there's so many of Godzilla's villains that come into play with this.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be really exciting to see what could potentially come up, right? I could see it
Yes.
getting really wild here later on, but it just depends of like what direction they want to take it, right?
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Me too, man. When you first recommend this comic book to me, I was just like, I was a skeptic. Like, it's just how is this? I mean, they're superheroes. I mean, they're like they know they can take these two monsters on, but it gives you more than that. Like it gives you more of a direction where this comic book can go
Mhm.
either way, and that's the joy of reading comic books. I mean, that's what I love.
Yeah, a good one always makes you question what's going next while also giving you a idea of where you're going, right?
Yeah,
And so I really can't wait. I do think though, this issue did do a lot of good things though to really help with the setup, right? And also have moments of its own, right? You know, I don't want to overshadow a lot of the great moments we also had in this issue too, right? Like I think that beginning of Godzilla's reveal, that was just epic, right? That's the main kaiju moment
yeah,
of this issue, and that's a lot of how this miniseries was advertised too, because in the back of a lot of the more recent DC books over the past month or two, you actually had this opening be in the back there of where it's like you see that, and then you get the first page or two from when it cuts back to 12 hours, and so it's like instantly from
mhm,
there you're hooked. It's like I already knew I had to read that, I had to get it from that, you know, and so. I mean, I
yeah,
already knew I was getting it before I read that, but I saw that preview in the back and I was like, "Holy crap! This just has me more excited." Uh, and then the
mm,
Titano thing too. That was cool.
yeah. I mean, way to go to bring an old character back. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought that was not Godzilla. I thought that was King Kong when I first saw that, but it's Titano.
yeah. It's interesting because it's you look at it and it's like from early pictures of me not realizing who the character is. For a moment myself, I was thinking, could this be something to do with who's that evil cyborg character? I can't remember his name. Grid. Like, could this
Oh,
do something with they do with
yeah,
like Grid with Kong? And it's just like no, it's a new version of Titano that they just brought back to kind of make fun of right away, right? Kind of like how that one Godzilla movie made fun of the '98 Godzilla by instantly destroying him.
I like how Flash always tries to help out all the Justice League members and knowing that the Justice League members can take care of themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of the characters, well, there's a little bit of a lot of people. All the characters did feel like themselves too, and I definitely give props to that. One part of it that I really like that I feel like we don't get a lot in modern comics is that whole relationship between Hal Jordan and Barry Allen. You know, Green Lantern and the Flash, right? They have a great friendship that I don't think is explored too much nowadays. I mean, we see it every now and then. Shout out to the current Green Lantern run where they recently teamed up together. But it was just great seeing them in a way present this whole situation that's going on, right?
Yeah,
So that's something I
'cause they're
really
both kind of
appreciated.
like they both have the similar humor, so
Mhm.
that I think that brings them more of a good friendship.
Yeah, yeah, they have a great friendship that I think is kind of overlooked nowadays. To where I don't think we see too much of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
don't man.
you know, be great if we could actually get a good Barry Allen and Hal Jordan on screen together sometime too. Come on, James Gunn, make it happen.
God, yes. I mean, did you tell me that they're going to, or they are going to make a Green Lantern movie?
Show with
A
Green
show.
Lantern and
Oh,
John Stewart, or Hal Jordan
mm.
and John Stewart. Yeah.
Is
So
he
that
your favorite Green
Hal
Lantern?
Hal's my favorite. Hal's my favorite. Yeah.
Mm.
I John Stewart though he's great. He's great. He's definitely a close second.
Mm.
Can't beat Hal
Yeah.
though. Hal's the Green Lantern. I don't care what anybody says. He's the Green Lantern. But yeah,
I mean, man, I love John Stewart though. I
John
mean,
Stewart's pretty great though. Like I said, he's a close second for a reason. He's a close second. What if we saw John Stewart in this? That'd be cool. I don't think we will. I feel like everybody that we've seen set up here will be, other than other kaiju's, are going to be the main like human players. I feel like, although there's big possibilities that we could see other characters though.
Yeah, I want to see King Kong versus Giganta that they just had.
That'd be cool. Yeah, there's just
So
so many possibilities with just alone of how many things teased from this first issue of where this could go. And so that's going to be exciting to see. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
man. I mean, when does the next book come out?
When's the next one come out? It might have just came out, or if not just come out next week. And you bring up a good point, right? If you
Mhm.
if you like what we're talking about here with this first issue and you want us to go on and do the rest of these, which I know I'll be reading the rest because I have it all subbed. I have the first issue right here with this beautiful cover. This what amazing double spread of a comic art here for the cover. You know, whole front and back here. It's amazing looking. Um, anyway, I was so excited for this series. I subbed to it pretty quickly, and so, but yeah, if you want us to cover more of these, let me know. I know I definitely. And you know what? We may just have to do that, but yeah, so amazing. I love it. But yeah, if you all like this, we'll definitely do more.
Yes, we will.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you have any other thoughts? I feel like we've covered this pretty well. You know, I mean, it's great seeing Legion of Doom and Justice League fight for a little bit too. I think that was a nice little moment we got in this too. Well, not little, but you know, seeing them fight each other for a little bit. But you know, before all the kaiju's come in, it's just gonna get crazy. Starting next issue, right? Gonna immediately begin with Superman and Godzilla going at it with each other. So I can't wait.
I wonder how that's gonna go with Godzilla's beam and Superman's heat beam.
Oh, think we could get some of that going on. That could be cool. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see what happens if anything like that happens. I can't wait. They're advertising this second issue big about this being like a big battle between them, and so I can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah. You have any other thoughts on this issue?
Oh no, man. I think we more pretty much went through the comic book
I think so.
very in detail and what we like and what don't you like about the comic book?
You know, I don't think there isn't really much for me to really say I dislike, right? Like there's you know, of course part of it would have been like, "Oh, darn, I wish I would have seen more of the kaijus," right? But you know, I'm hoping that this is just one of those that walks so the future ones could run, right? So I'm hoping just this slower issue as far as not having as much as what the title promises uh
Yeah.
so it helps set up more to live up to what of this title of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, right? Because I hope by the end
Yes.
we get this big crazy three-way war or whatever it's promising, right? Or maybe we get a
Hmm.
huge team up of stuff, right? Who knows what's gonna happen, right? Because a lot of these versus movies they end up teaming up with each other, and so like I said, not
Yeah. I
really
mean,
much I dislike.
yeah, same thing. And I don't really have my flaws against this book. I mean, everything that's written and everything that's shown has really sparked my interest, and I really want more within this book. But yeah, what you were saying about teaming up, are Justice League and the Legion of Doom going to join forces against the Kajus, or are these two um, monsters are going to pick sides?
It could be very interesting, right? There's so many different ways that they could go from it. It's just like it's just up to our imagination at this point, right? And so you know it's having to wait month to month for these. I can't wait for this next one.
No doubt, man. I'm ready to read it
Ready
whenever it
for
comes
it.
out.
Ready for it,
I
and you
mean,
know we're gonna have to come back here and cover the beginning of the epic
part two.
showdown, part two, right? It's gonna
Mhm.
be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, I think that did it pretty well for covering this issue. I feel like we've beat it down pretty well. Such a big setup. We can't wait to talk about the next one. Where can the people find you at?
Well, you guys can go find me at the Classical Podcast on Facebook, Robin Jackson on Facebook, and my Instagram is Classic Wolf Podcast 89. And go follow me on my podcast wherever your podcast platforms. Just Google me, you'll find me there.
Awesome. All the links will be down below for all that. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next
Oh
time.
man, thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was great having you on. But anyway, I'll see you all next time here on the Dingus Den. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Before you go, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. See you next time here on the Dingus Den.